Hi everybody! Today we are gonna see conditional structures and loops. We have seen different types of structures so far. We have conditional structures. You use if to specify a block of code to execute if a specified condition is true. We can use else to specify another block of code to execute if the same condition is false, and we can use else if to specify a new condition to test if the first condition is false. We can use also switch to specify many alternatives block of code to execute. There's also a last mode called ternary operator, which is a syntactic mode that can only be written on one line. For example, a ternary operator is gonna look like that. We have condition, then we have a mark of interrogation, then we have is that true or is that false. That's basically a very short loop that can be used when things are simple. We have also seen the for loops, then where we run the block of code a determinate number of time. Finally, we will see the while loop in which we run a block of code until a specified condition is true. As we see, while loops, while condition, code to execute inside of parentheses. Let's go to see how that works. Here we have a while loop, and here we have a ternary operator. We declare a variable let called text, and we have an empty space. Then we have a variable let I, and we assign to that 0. Then we start the loop. While I is less than 10, something familiar, right? We have that executed, and it's going to be text plus a line break, the number is. And then we put the number, incremented of 1. So, as we see, the condition starts at 0, and then increment of 1 every time until reach 10. We have a console log, so we're going to see how it works with inspect element. Go to see the console, and we have in the first case all the number 0, 1, 2, 3 until 9. Of course, I've seen before we can have a much longer list of number. Then we can see what happened to that ternary operator. How does it work? We have the constant add adesso. Well, it's lost some translation. Let's call it now, and then we have, for example, we can write cheers. Then we can write the same good morning, and here as well good evening, something like that. That is taking exactly our date that is already embedded in the system, so we don't have to pay too much attention to that. So we declare that const now, we assign a new date, and we ask to express whatever is now. If it's less than 18, we can say good morning. If it's later, we can say good evening. Of course, in that case, it's going to say that's a mistake. Let's see what is we translated that in now. Let's see if it works, and say good evening. That's pretty straightforward, evening, but is interesting to understand how that works. Let's see, even it can be debatable that still morning at 5 p.m. Still makes sense for our simple example of defining that type of code. So many loop we have seen conditional structure, we have seen also that ternary operator. I resume briefly. So we have if, else, else, if, and then we can use a switch to specify many alternative blocks of code to execute. Inside of conditional structure, we put also ternary operators. That is a really simple way to write all the code in one line. And then we have loops like for loop and while loop. In for loop, we run a block of code a determinate number of times. And in while loop, we run a block of code until a specified condition is true. Thank you for your attention, and see you to the next video. Bye.